I convinced myself it was merely a brief getaway, a chance to rediscover a spark within me. My husband, Daniel, was a kind soul, but our marriage had faded into a cycle of predictable dinners, weary mornings, and hollow exchanges. When Ryan, a past love, re-entered my life with promises of adventure, I succumbed to temptation. I arranged a clandestine trip with him, telling Daniel I was off with friends. To ensure no disruptions, I blocked Daniel's number before stepping onto the plane. The escape was everything I had craved. Extravagant meals, carefree laughter, and secret kisses that rekindled my youth. With Ryan, I shed my duties, my promises, and the thought of the man waiting at home. Each evening, I reassured myself this was a harmless fling, that I'd return to my routine life with Daniel none the wiser. I thought I was cunning enough to conceal my actions. But in fleeting moments of solitude, guilt pressed against my heart. I pushed it away by keeping my phone silent, avoiding any urge to check in with my husband. I didn't want to face his texts, his calls, or his worry. For 7 days, I immersed myself in a dream world while Daniel was left clueless about my whereabouts or why I'd gone silent. When the trip concluded, a blend of unease and relief washed over me. On the flight home, I unblocked Daniel's number, bracing for a barrage of missed calls and anxious messages, but my phone was eerily empty. My stomach nodded, though I told myself he might just be giving me space or would later chide me for being unreachable. I stepped into our home with a practiced smile, ready to act as if nothing had changed. But the house felt wrong too still. His shoes weren't by the entrance. His coat wasn't draped over the chair. The faint trace of his cologne was gone. On the kitchen counter, I spotted a letter with my name in his distinctive script. My hand shook as I opened it. Emily, it read. I don't know where you vanished to or why you cut me off, but your silence spoke volumes. A husband shouldn't have to plead for a place in his wife's life. I waited, worried, and I realized I deserve better than being shut out. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. I'm done waiting for answers. Farewell. The words sliced through me, more painful than any argument could have been. My chest tightened, my legs gave way, and I sank into a chair. I wanted to call him to insist it wasn't what he assumed, but deep down, I knew it was precisely that. My infidelity had screamed its truth louder than any excuse I could offer. Weeks passed with no trace of Daniel. My calls, texts, and letters sent to his parents' address went unanswered. It was as if he'd erased me entirely, leaving me alone in the quiet of the home we once built together. I had traded devotion for fleeting thrills, and the price was irreversible. Ryan reached out after, but I ignored him. The excitement I'd chased now felt repulsive. He was never part of my future, and he never could be. All I longed for was Daniel's return. But as time stretched on, it became clear he was gone for good. He had chosen himself over me. Memories of the small things I'd overlooked haunted me. How Daniel always ensured my car was fueled, how he'd have coffee waiting each morning, how he'd ground me when I felt adrift. Those quiet acts of care now felt like accusations. I had sought excitement, but I demolished the foundation that truly mattered. Friends noticed my pall, questioned the absence of my wedding ring. I couldn't confess the truth, so I murmured that Daniel and I had drifted apart. In truth, I had shattered something irreplaceable, and he had left before I could plead for forgiveness. Months later, divorce papers arrived. Simple, devoid of anger or resentment, just a final severing. He didn't seek vengeance or confrontation. He simply wanted liberation from me. Signing those papers felt like hammering the final nail into the coffin of our shared life. At night, I sometimes hold my phone, staring at his contact, wondering if he ever spares a thought for me. But I know I'll never hear his voice, see his gentle smile, or feel his steady love again. My decision during that trip didn't just fracture my marriage. It erased the man who once vowed eternity. In the end, I learned that love isn't always about thrills or passion. It's about fidelity, respect, and the quiet strength of trust. I lost Daniel because I forgot that truth. And though life moves forward, My heart remains tethered to the ghost of a husband I pushed away, only to realize too late that he had closed the door on me forever.